Michelle and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today's video I'll be sharing with you how I trim my hair. Trimming your hair shouldn't be something that's difficult. It should be an easy process for you. So if you're struggling or you don't know how to go about it, then yeah, I'm here to share with you my trimming process. So if your hair is like mine, I have type 4C hair. We all have different textures. There's different ways of trimming your hair. The first method is you can trim your hair when it's wet, or you can trim your hair when it is dry. For me personally, I would say trim your hair when it is stretched out, dry, so then you can see exactly how much length you're taking off. Whereas if you trim your hair when it's wet and it's all coiled up, you won't be able to see how much length you have taken off. But anyway, let me not talk too much. So the first thing you're going to need obviously is to preferably stretch out your hair, blow it out, moisturize it, and then have it blow dried like I've done. You're going to need some scissors. These are my scissors. I got mine from Amazon. You need scissors that are specifically made for cutting hair. You don't want to use scissors that you use in the house for cutting paper and other things, because those scissors will probably be blunt. Do you know when you're trying to chop something, it just doesn't cut right and then it leaves that rough edge? That's what's going to happen if you're using other scissors that are not specifically for your hair. So make sure you get yourself scissors and then use that to cut your hair, because when it's just for hair, it's going to be sharp and it will only cut your hair precisely. Anyway, we're not cutting our hair, we're trimming our ends. Basically what I do is I would grab a comb like this and then just try and bring in my hair. Just try and bring in, comb it out, kind of comb it out, comb it out. This hair is already combed out, so don't worry that I'm using a small comb in my hair, because yeah, I know that can cause breakage. But my hair is stretched out and it has been, yeah, it has been prepped prior to this. So basically all you do with trimming your ends, you can do the search and destroy method, or you can just trim where you feel like, okay, this part needs to go. Sometimes you can even feel your way through, so you feel like this part of your hair might feel really nice and smooth, and then when you get to the end it feels a bit rough. So that's where you need to be cutting. If you're not sure, that's not how much I'm going to be cutting off, by the way. I'm just saying, when you start to feel roughness, that's where you cut off. Sometimes you have single strand knots at the end. You can cut them off on their own, or you can cut off the hair where you see a lot of single strand knots. Just feel my way and see where my hair is feeling kind of rough, and for me that's like that much. So I'll be taking off that part of hair. So that bit is done. So now you can see that my comb goes through my hair. You can always check again, look through and see if you see anything. Like myself right now, I am spotting more single strand knots because it's been a long time since I cut my hair. So I just go in there and just remove those hairs. Right, there we go. That one is done. And then we just move on to the next section. So this is the other section, and I'm going to try and comb it out. Just combing out the ends, really. No need to comb the entire section, just the ends, because that's what we're focusing on, the ends. If you want an even more accurate cut, you could try straightening your hair and then cut your hair like that. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't cut the wrong way by stretching it out that far ahead, like that way, because that's, yeah, and I can feel roughness right there, right there at the end. Okay, and that is pretty much it. I am done trimming my hair. As simple as that. As you've seen, I was just going through, you know, and once you trim the hair, it gets hard to keep it in place because it's now all, there's no stringy ends that's holding it together. It's just all nice and fluffy and full, so it'll be hard to stay in place, as you can see. Maybe you have a question like, how often should you trim your hair? Preferably 3 to 6 months, like every 3 to 6 months, depending on how bad your ends are. Personally, I've been trimming about every 6 months or so. I haven't really trimmed like every 3 months. Sometimes I trim once a year, sometimes every 3 to 6 months, and that's fine by me. But this time I think I took long enough to trim. I think I've gone over. But a minimum to follow is 3 to 6 months. But if you take care of your ends properly, then you won't need to trim your hair as often. And just go by how your hair feels. Does it feel rough? Are you having a lot of knots and strangling knots, single strand knots? Is your hair tangling up so easily? If it's doing that, then it probably means that it's time for a trim. If your ends are really dry, no matter what you do with them, it's probably time to let them go. So yeah, but before we think about trimming, make sure that we are taking care of our ends first. But if the ends are looking scraggly, then they need to go. So every 3 to 6 months you can do that, or once a year. It's totally up to you and your hair, and because we all have different hair routines, so I don't know what you're doing to your hair on a daily. If you put heat on your hair all the time, you might find that you need to trim your hair more often, you know, so because yeah, your hair splits quite a lot when you're putting a lot of heat on it. So yeah, that is pretty much it from me today. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please be sure to thumbs this video up, it's free, and subscribe to my channel if you like to see more content from me and more how to do your natural hair. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Until next time, bye guys.
One night got me doing things that I'm not used to. One night got me wondering if we supposed to. One night got me playing games like I don't know you. One night you deep in my mind, so I say just one time.